Beats Planet.
Yo. What's up, y'all? Voch Lombardi, the Doski Woski is here. The Peasky Wheesky is free. It's implied. It costs you nothing. They hand out the Peasky Wheesky at the door, so there's no reason to inquire about it. There's no reason to put up a big fuss. If you don't have the Peasky Wheesky already, it'll be here shortly. It's guaranteed. What's good, y'all? Couple of housekeeping points I want to make before we get started with the show. I wasn't even going to go live for real, because I just posted a video yesterday. Kind of wanted to let that breathe for a little bit. But as like football guy, oh man, pad day is so exciting. So exciting. What's good from Australia, man? Welcome. So, housekeeping for my patron people. Shouts out to all the Patreon people, everybody that supports via that. If you want to join in the fantasy football league, it's going to be in like a priority tier. So my $10 plus patrons, y'all have the first crack at it. Everybody ain't really jumping on it. I guess people, last minute ting it or whatever. But in a couple more days, we're going to open it up to the $5 tier people. Then after that, I'm going to open it up to whoever. So if you're one of those Patreon members, you need to head over to patreon.com/Voch Lombardi and, solidify your spot in the $10 Patreon Fantasy Football League. I'm going to document it. We're going to put the fantasy football draft on a live stream or whatnot. I'm going to react to it, and I'm going to keep tabs on it throughout the year. So I think that'll be fun for all of us to do. So shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to the merch gang, everybody that has supported via merch, shirts and all that. Shop.spreadshirt.com/Shop Lombardi. That link is in the description. You can go check that out. Shouts out to Terrence Samuel. He won the free Patreon shirt giveaway this week. I'm going to be mailing that out soon to him. That's for everybody that's a Patreon sub. I'm just kind of going to randomize that, and the winner get a free little something just to hold it down for the people, so to speak. So shouts out to Terrence Samuel. What else housekeeping wise before we get going? Because I'm excited, man. Football's going. Is that everything housekeeping wise? All right, cool. That's it. Oh yes, and check out my videos. I did a study about Dak Prescott's deep passing, and I compared it to his peers and the elites. Then I did a Dak Prescott study about his deep passing to Michael Gallup. So check that out, and check out the Donovan Alumba film session. Christian Covington, the Amari Cooper runs one route 4 different ways video. I think that's a dope little video too. So y'all definitely check that out. All right, we good? All right, then. Let's run it. Let's get into it. So, real football starts today. And I was taking a walk the other day. Like I was out there jogging or whatever. That's why I look like Raggedy Voch right now. I was out there jogging or whatever. It's about to rain, so that's why I stopped. But I think a lot when I jog, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about how dope football is to where, like, the actual baseball season is going on. But what's more important is like unpadded practices. That's hilarious. Like unpadded football practices are way more impactful than like regular season baseball. That's like when regular football season comes on, somebody says, "Oh, the baseball preseason is going on. Let's put preseason baseball on TV opposed to like real life football." Like that never happens in any other sport. Like we care about people running 40s. We care about organized team activities in football. Like it's just that dope. And I think some of the biggest portions of football, not counting regular season, is draft and like training camp stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just dope. That's just fire how football is. Also, one more thing. If y'all want to call into the show, the number is 515-606-5187. 309-104 is the access code. Everything's live. So if y'all want to call in and give me your thoughts on anything Cowboy related, training camp related, y'all can do that. If y'all want to. That's up to y'all. But so we got training camp. We got that first couple of training camp days going, and I'm not out there in Oxnard or whatever, so I'm not gonna be the guy that says, "Oh, y'all, this is what's going on in training camp." I'm not gonna be that guy because I don't know. I ain't out there. Go watch Law Nation. He's out there. He's posting stuff on his videos. Go give him some views. Go give him some revenue. He needs all that. So go over there and check him out. I'm just gonna give talking points and things that I think about. And one thing that I was thinking about is I think about one-on-one matchups a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think about padded one-on-one versus matchups a bunch because I'm a former football player. I'm a former coach. And ain't nothing like that first day of pads when coach called the Oklahoma drill. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody that got any kind of, ex-football in their life, whether it be player or coaching, y'all got a special place in your heart for first day of practice Oklahoma stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a little place in their heart, and I just know that's one of the things that's going to happen today. I just know that's something that's going to pop off at some point. And what made me think about it is, the one thing that'll really set practice off, the one thing that'll really just get everybody hyped, the one thing that'll really set the tone for the season is when they run out there and they stretch and they warm up and they get loose, and then they let the kicker kick field goals for like 5 kicks, and then right before Jason Garrett say one-on-ones, Travis Frederick step up and say, "I want Antoine Woods." Boy, I've been thinking all day. I hopped on Twitter and said it. I'm like, boy, I can't wait to do it live. You want to set the season off? You want to set practice off? Let Travis Frederick jump up. I want Antoine Woods. In a couple ways, I love that. First of all, you getting some get back for Antoine Woods for punching you in the jaw last year. You know what I'm saying? That's the first little bit about it. But I think the Travis Frederick, Antoine Woods thing, just a word you're going to hear me say a lot is gatekeeper. And I keep going back to this, and I hate being this guy, but ex-players, ex-coaches, they're familiar with gatekeeper guys in these one-on-one situations, because we're going to have a bunch of players that are either going to be one thing or going to be another thing. And we have a certain type of player to go against that player to see where they at. You know what I'm saying? And I think Travis Frederick versus Antoine Woods would be a good gatekeeper match to see where Travis Frederick is upon his return. Now, we know classic top tier, good to go Travis Frederick beats the shit out of Antoine Woods. Sorry. Wait a minute, Stephanie in the chat box. I can't cuss. My bad. Will beat the hell. I think I said hell though. Healthy Travis Frederick beats the hell out of Antoine Woods every single time. So not only is Travis Frederick getting his get back, he would be setting the tone for practice. But if he can beat Antoine Woods clearly, then that'll give us the idea of, okay, Travis might be back. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll go on to Travis versus Tyron Crawford or something like that. Just a bigger matchup. You know what I'm saying? Daryl O told me that Travis ain't practicing today. That's cool. I've heard that before, but they got a lot of padded practices between now in September. They got a lot of padded practices. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't got to happen today, but it can just happen at some point in the training camp padded administration. You know what I'm saying? So I would really like to see Travis Frederick versus Antoine Woods. Another gatekeeper match I really want to see. I want to see how they match up Tristan Hill. Now you can't say Tristan Hill versus Zach Martin. You can't say that day one. Like, he's a rookie. We don't really know where. Like, we would rather know where Tristan Hill is at before we throw him in there with a monster. At some point, I would love to see Tristan Hill versus Zach Martin, just to kind of see where he matches up. Because when Randy first got here, we threw Randy versus Tyron Smith and let him fly. But I just want to know where Tristan is at first. So I think a good gatekeeper match for Tristan Hill would be Xavier Su'a-Filo. Now, I'm not a big fan of Xavier Su'a-Filo. I was listening to the Cowboys break. Nick Eatman was saying, I think Xavier Su'a-Filo is a good player. Well, Nick Eatman can go. I'll push Nick Eatman off the bridge if that's how you feel about Xavier Su'a-Filo. Like, I'm not a big fan of XSF at all. However, I think he's a good gatekeeper for a guy like Tristan Hill. So I would love to see those two guys go at it or whatnot. For the new people that are here, because there are some new people here, we're talking about training camp battles, one-on-ones. Now that we have pads on and stuff. The number to call in is 515-606-5187. You can call in to any you can call in and talk any training camp topic or talk about a matchup that you would want to see. I see C Nix in the chat box. He was saying, I was thinking Connor Williams. That could be a thing, but I think Connor Williams is in another, let's see where he's at position too. I wouldn't want to throw two guys that I'm confused about against each other. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want to see Tristan versus Connor Williams because that really wouldn't tell you where Connor Williams is at. For Connor Williams, I got written down. I got two battles for Connor Williams. If Connor Williams is going to play inside, I want to see him versus Malik Collins. I think that'll be a good little fight for him. And if Connor is lined up on the outside, I want to see Connor Williams versus Taco Charlton. I think those would be some pretty fun little fights just to kind of see, okay, Connor Williams added 20 or 15 to 20, 25 some odd pounds or whatever. Let's see if you can handle this level competition. And if he handles Taco, then let's put Dorrance on him. If he handles Dorrance pretty well, let's put Robert Quinn on him. And we'll just move him up slowly like that. Kerry Hyder's going to have to work his way into this matchup at some point as well. So I'm really interested to see Connor Williams and you know the guys that he gets put up against. You know what I mean? He's kind of got some big shoes to fill. I want to go back to being the best offensive line in football. And whenever Zeke gets away from Cabo and vacationing because he's playing chicken with listen, you can play chicken with Jerry Joe, but you can't play chicken with Steven. Steven is not gonna allow you to play chicken. If Zeke is gonna come out and say, look, I'm not practicing till they pay me, then Zeke ain't gonna play until September. Then they're gonna waive his missed practice fines, and we're gonna go back to happy day. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just my thoughts about that. What other O-line, D-line matches do I also got other matchups here, but I'm looking strictly at O-line, D-line right now. I think Tyron Smith and Robert Quinn will be fantastic. I'm hearing like a lot of fireworks about it. I heard that it was that they're having good little fights or whatever, but it don't count till I see it. I want to see it. I want to see a war between two veterans that have been at the highest peaks in the game. I want to see them go against each other because they're both going to be pivotal parts on this football team. You know, like they older, but they ain't like old vet guys. Like they're going to have their off days or whatever. But like when we look at like Sean Lee and Jason Witten, we look at those guys as older guys, like older, guys to where, okay, we're going to take it slow with them. We're going to use off days with them. We're going to limit their snaps because they're older. Tyron Smith going to have to play. Robert Quinn going to have to play. And I think both those guys are in, they're in pretty much, they're still in good standings. They're not in their primes anymore, I wouldn't say, but they're still good to go. I want to see that fight because I think that's going to be some gangster stuff. I think that's going to be some top tier. And I actually got somebody that's going to be in training camp recording some stuff, and if they can get some footage of that, I'm gonna break that down. I'm gonna break that down. Stephanie say, "Where's Nene? Nene at work. I think Nene's working. She get off in about 30 minutes or something." Dorrance Armstrong versus Lael Collins. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think at this point, as a fan, I think I'm a little higher on Dorrance Armstrong than Taco Charlton right now. Because sometimes y'all get analyst Voch, and I'll say things like, hey, we need to be a little more patient with Taco. Like, even if Taco doesn't pan out to be a first-round pick type talent, Taco will still be a serviceable backup for us. But the bad thing that happened to Taco is that we ended up getting, like, real deep at D-end. You know what I'm saying? Like Quinn got here and, Crawford's around and Kerry Hyder's around and Randy Gregory can come back and Dorrance Armstrong came on and D-Law's coming along. So it'll be easy to say, hey, let's just make Taco like a backup and we'll just go from there. But it ain't even guaranteed that Taco would be better than those guys. So Taco gonna have to earn his spot. Taco gonna have to do what Antoine Woods did and just punch somebody in the mouth and figure out what's gonna happen next. But Dorrance Armstrong is the guy that I have a little more faith in out of those two guys, and I want to see Dorrance Armstrong step up to the plate a little bit. We've been talking about Gatekeeper matchups. Even though I have my gripes and my angry faces about Lael Collins, I still do think Lael is like a gatekeeper in terms of, okay, you're a defensive end that was rotational last year. We want you to take the next step. Go up against Lael Collins. I wouldn't put Dorrance Armstrong versus Tyron Smith, because I think Tyron Smith would just smoke him and take his lunch money. However, if you put Dorrance versus Lael, then you can really kind of see where Lael is at. Even though I made this video last year, y'all can go take a look at it. They put Dorrance versus Tyron Smith, and they went like 3 reps, and Dorrance beat Tyron the first time. Then Tyron got mad. Tyron got mad, and he just 2-0 Dorrance or whatever. Like, it wasn't even close. I think that's that's for later on in training camp, as far as early padded practice day. I want to see Dorrance Armstrong take on a guy like Lael Collins. What else we got? Free wasn't that good, but he put in work. Collins kind of looked like Free. Man, look, I say it all the time, man. Like, whoever's going to be the new right tackle after Doug Free is gone, they got one job, and that's be better than Doug Free. And I didn't think that job was that hard, but boy, that job is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, Voch, is it true that Zeke is training by himself wherever he is? Well, he's going to Cabo, and last time he was in Cabo, that was when he was coming off of his suspension, and he made the whole documentary thing. He was working out on the beach or whatever. So I would imagine, like just because players are holding out, it doesn't mean that they have a bad standing with the organization. It just means that they're negotiating, that they're just figuring this stuff out. And I think Zeke understands that he got to stay in shape. Like, if Zeke shows up fat, that's gonna be bad business. So Zeke may not be with the team, but I'm quite sure Zeke is somewhere working out or whatever. So that's just that. So let's do this. Let's talk about some of the catching that I want to see. And we also have some more people that have tuned in since then. If y'all want to call into the show, the number is 515-606-5187, access code 309-104. You can call in and talk about anything training camp related, anything that's like Dallas Cowboy one-on-one padded practice day or whatever. Y'all can call in and say whatever y'all want to say about that. I was talking about pass catchers now, one-on-one in terms of pass catching, like receivers, running backs. First name I wrote down was Jamez Olawale versus the bench. You know what I'm saying? I heard some reports. I think Kellen was like, "Oh boy, we can do a lot of stuff with Jamez Olawale." And somebody asked me, "Yo, Voch, Kellen said Jamez Olawale was going to be a weapon on the team. Does that change your mind about pushing him off a bridge?" No. Hell no. It does not change my mind. Even if we do find a way to incorporate Jamez Olawale into the offense or whatnot, I'm still not a big fan, because there are so many other positions on this team that we can address, that I would rather address than Jamez Olawale. Now, if Kellen takes Jamez Olawale seriously, he'll probably have one touchdown next season. It'll probably be one play where we play action to the right, pump fake right, Jamez is in the left flats and wide open by himself, and we'll find a way to get him the ball open or something like that. Kind of like we did last year when we threw it to Jamez Olawale and he dropped it. I think Jamez is gonna have one of those plays, and we're gonna put this on pause. I still got my list, but I got a caller, so let's see what they talking about. Let's fix my audio. Pat from New Mexico, what's cracking?
Hey, boss, it's good to talk to you again.
What's good, brother? What you got for the show?
Man, I'm up nights. I can't sleep. I'm losing weight. My girlfriend won't talk to me. My dog looks at me crazy because they know I'm stressed out about what are we going to do with all these great defensive ends we have.
Somebody got to go, brother. Somebody got to go. I was saying a few weeks ago on this show that we as Cowboy fans like since the salary cap era, I would say, or at least the last decade or since like 2000 or something, this has been one of the more talented teams that we've had. We've either been like, we've had depth but no top talent, and sometimes we've had like a lot of top talent but no depth. We have top tier guys and a gang of depth. We got a number one receiver that we like a bunch. We got a number one running back that we like a bunch. We got a top tier defense that we like a bunch, and a lot of backup players. And some we got to learn as Cowboy fans in 2019 is that we're so good, we're going to have to cut guys that we like, you know? And I think Allen Hurns was kind of the beginning of that feel, you know? Like nobody wants to see, you know, a guy like Dorrance Armstrong or Joe Jackson get cut or whatever, but it's so many defensive ends. What the hell are you going to do, you know?
It's really, I mean, I just want to cry, man.
Yeah.
I don't care about some of the receivers. I mean, you know, if I lose, Javon Johnson or, you know, don't get me wrong, I'd like to have him, but you know, there's some receivers.
Wait a minute, you can't cut John Bay Johnson, sir. No, you cannot cut my son John Bay Johnson, sir. Please,
man, that's fine. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to lose him, but I don't want to lose Joe Jackson.
I agree, and I think that's gonna put us in a situation where. You were talking about D ends. I think we end up keeping Joe Jackson somehow. I think we end up keeping Dorrance Armstrong somehow. I think Taco may be a guy that goes. Taco and, you know, maybe like Kerry Hyder maybe. I think one of those guys can go. But if Taco can fight his way on this roster, then we'll see. Guys like Randy Gregory's going to make this really weird. Like one of your favorite D ends might make the team, but when Randy comes back, we're going to need a spot. So we just going to have
well, Anthony, just personal opinion.
Okay.
What do you think the percentages of Crawford? Stay, go, whatever. You think he's 90% here, or you think he's more like 60% here?
I think he'll be here. I think like 100 and something % that he'll
really?
be here. Yeah.
Like that much?
Yeah. Crawford will be here. He's a leader. He's making money, but he can play he can play in two places on the D line for your 3-tech defensive end. And just in case anything happens, he's a first string guy for you. Like he's a starter. Like if D-Law has some kind of setback where he can't play week 1, and Randy maybe gets I don't know, like 2 games or something for his situation or whatever, then we're going to need him and Robert Quinn to be the first level guys, you know? Malik Collins gets hurt a bunch, you know, and you may not want to start Tristan Hill. So you're going to need Tyrone Crawford to start 3-tech, and Tristan Hill be your rotational guy. Like, I just think he's way too important. And when we're making Super Bowl runs, we want as many important guys as we can get.
I'm not saying that he's worthless.
Sure.
You know, that's not what I'm saying. I just, I just hate getting rid of such great potential with a guy who he's clearly peaked. I don't think his peak was all that high, and he ain't a bad player, man. If we lose a Jalen Jelks over Tyrone Crawford,
Jalen Jelks can go. I will push Jalen Jelks off a bridge to keep Tyrone Crawford because there's 2 ways to look at it, right? You can either look at this with GM eyes or with coach eyes. And if I'm looking at it with coach eyes, I'm like, man, look, I'm not worried about no future. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl this year, and I need as many guys that can play this year. And Tyrone Crawford will probably give you 40 snaps a game this year. How many snaps realistically does Jalen Jelks give you this year?
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, I don't worry about this Zeke thing at all, though.
Yeah. You should.
To me, it's not even worth talking about.
Right.
If I can get 2 or 3 more weeks of him not taking hits and possibly, you know, rolling his ankle,
sure.
you know, Cincinnati type thing,
sure.
I'm fine with that.
I agree. Sit him out because he's not really going to do full contact stuff anyway. And he's not really going to play preseason anyway. So as long as he's healthy and in shape by the time we get to September, He ain't got to be here.
And he's not just like a good athlete. I mean, he's a superior athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a competitor. He's a superior competitor.
Sure.
This guy ain't going to come back in here, all sloppy and, putting down the cigarettes when he walks in the door,
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. We'll see. And I think Zeke needs money. Like, he got some lawyer fees and he's been hit with some bread in other places. So when the times for like game checks or whatever, like Zeke is still making like $12 million this year or something like that. So when it's time for like game checks, I don't think Zeke is missing game checks. So he can sit out preseason all he wants to.
Nemo is knocking at the door.
Sure. That's all you got, Pat?
Man, I'll let you go. I got one last question. If you answer, and I'll let you answer it off there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think we're going to have tight ends that are going to be able to sustain this year and it not be held back by Jason Witten? And I'll let you go. Thanks, Voch. Keep it safe, as we all hope we do too.
Yes, sir. Salute, Doski Woski. Thanks for calling in. In terms of tight ends or whatever, I don't think the tight ends are going to be held back by Jason being there, because something that we see even prior to Kellen Moore being there, like, we like to play with multiple tight ends, and I might do like a white marker board type of deal with it. Like, we can do a lot of high-low combinations with Blake Jarwin and Jason Witten, to where Jason Witten is going to run most of your hitches. He can run to the flats and things like that, to where Blake Jarwin is going to run a lot of your corners, and he's going to run the seam a little bit more. I think the thing about Jarwin and Schultz, I think it takes a while for tight ends to get good. Like, normally rookie tight ends really aren't that great. So that was their rookie year when they played last year. And you can just see Blake Jarwin just slowly figuring the game out. Like if you look at Blake Jarwin in week 5, when he run his verticals, he'll just kind of run the verticals or whatever. But when we run the seams, you want at the end of that vertical to kind of bend in a little bit. You want to bend in at the hashes to try to get behind or in front of the safeties. You just kind of got to know the leverage wherever they are. And the game Blake Jarwin figured that out was like the Giants game, and he got like 10 receptions and three touchdowns that day. And he got it from working the seams correctly. Like, he finally learned how to bend, finding that leverage or whatnot. So I think Blake Jarwin is going to have a fantastic sophomore campaign. And Jason Witten, I think Jason knows his spot. I think he knows his place on his team. He's going to be a starter, but he knows what's up. This ain't his team anymore. Let's go Zoe from VA.
What's up, dog?
What up, dog? What you got for the show?
Man, I got a couple questions about D-line, O-line, and safety.
Let's do it.
So, who be pushing out the bridge for the O-line? Because, we got Hyatt, McGovern, Suafilo.
Yeah.
Who? Joe Looney. Like, how many offensive linemen you think we gonna carry?
I saw some people say let's carry 9 offensive linemen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how heavy we go elsewhere. But if you think about the first 5 guys, cool. Swing tackle, that's going to be Cam Fleming, so that's 6. Connor McGovern, he's a young guy that's going to be a guard center type of guy for you, so that's 7. This is where you got to think about redundancies. So when you building rosters, you don't want redundancies. You want as much variety as you can. I think Jason Garrett just said when it comes into roster building, you want to build the best team and not necessarily have the 53 best players. So if you got a Connor McGovern who's a young gangster that's a rookie for you playing guard and center, do you want Joe Looney, whose contract is up, also playing guard and center for you? I think that's kind of interesting. You're going to have a conversation with yourself like, okay, well, if Connor McGovern is going to be like our backup center guy, then Joe Looney and Xavier Suafilo are going to be guard type guys for you. You don't want 3 backup guards on your team. That doesn't make sense. And if you follow the money, I would say Connor McGovern's safe. So you're in a situation where you're going to push Joe Looney off a bridge or you're going to push Xavier Suafilo off a bridge.
Suafilo out of here, dog.
I agree. But we don't know what they think about Suafilo. also you gotta like think about this. You gotta think about practice squad and how that works. Offensive lineman that's perfect for a practice squad, a guy like Larry Allen Jr., he's perfect because nobody's gonna take him from you. A guy like Brandon Knight from Indiana, he's perfect for PS because nobody's gonna take him from you. Mitch Hyatt was a high level undrafted free agent. So you can't put Mitch Hyatt on practice squad because somebody will take him from you. But do you have a spot on your team for a young backup tackle that ain't gonna play? But do you just cut Mitch Hyatt? do you just cut?
Started what, 4 years?
Sure.
National championship.
Sure. Sure. And I think
said, man, this team is deep.
We deep, and I think as Cowboy fans, it's been a while since we had a team this good, and we got to get comfortable with the idea that somebody might get pushed off a bridge. Now, if it's me, I'm not saying Joe Looney can go because I like Joe Looney, but I just want people to get comfortable with the idea that Joe Looney might can go. Joe Looney might be that guy. It just depends on who wins the camp battle, the camp battle of who's the better guard. Joe Looney or Xavier Su'a-Filo. Adam Redmond can go. Adam Redmond ain't gonna be here.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. So we'll have to see about that, brother.
All right. How about D line? I kind of like Joe Jackson and
Sure.
And Dorrance, Taco, man. I don't know what's up with that guy.
Taco got to win his he got to win his situation this year. I think besides the first level guys, whatever, I think there are like 4 bubble guys that are kind of fighting against each other. That's Kerry Hyder, Joe Jackson, Dorrance Armstrong, and Taco Charlton. So it's those guys that's fighting it out against each other. And of those 4 guys, I think maybe like 2 of them make it. And that may sound weird. That may sound weird or whatever, but dog, if you think about D-Law, Tyrone Crawford that gives you defensive end snaps, Robert Quinn and Randy Gregory when he comes back, realistically, we're not gonna keep 8 defensive ends. You know what I'm saying? We also got to think about 3-tech. We got to think about 1-tech. We got to think about those backup guys. We can't keep that many D ends. So we're gonna have to cut somebody somewhere. So Taco got to win his. He got to win his matchups. He got to be better than Kerry and Joe Jackson currently, in my opinion. I don't think Taco is better than Dorrance.
I don't think so either. Mm-hmm. And man, I really, really, really like Tristan Hill, man. I think he gonna be. If he had played his whole senior year, man,
sure,
more than 4 games, I think he would have never made it to the second round. I don't think anyway.
Sure, I agree. I think he got knocked because his coaches was kind of talking shit about him. And I hate fans that kind of don't watch the film and they just come out and say, well, Voch, why are you excited about Tristan? Like he only started 2 games. I'm like, that's cool. But if you watch the film, that son bitch gets off the football. He gets off the football fast. You can't teach that.
Yes.
You can't teach that. Now you can give him a steak, a peanut butter sandwich, and a dumbbell, and he can get bigger and stronger. But you cannot teach nobody burst. That boy got ball get off, and he's got burst. What I like about Tristan is that there is no pressure for him to be like a starter. Like Tristan Hill ain't gonna come in and play 50 snaps a game for you. Tristan may play 15 snaps on passing downs, and if that's gonna be his contribution here, I like it. I'm with it.
All right.
Yeah.
And the safety position, I was thinking Donovan Wilson is kind of like a sleeper for me because
sure.
If you look at when Chris Richard drafted Cam Chancellor, he drafted him late too, and look what he developed into. So I'm like, everybody kind of writing him off. Is he gonna make the team?
I think Donovan makes the excuse me. I think he makes the final cut because he's a younger guy, and I think you can do.
He'll play a lot of special teams,
and he's gonna play a lot of special teams. He ain't got a choice. He gonna have to play. Yeah. Somebody got to do it. Like, we need linebackers, we need safeties because we need somebody to play kickoff and, punt team, punt return or whatever. But I think the big difference, if you look at our safeties, like there's a little key word I like to use called the odd man out. And if you look at Xavier Woods, Jeff Heath, if you look at guys like Donovan Wilson, Darian Thompson, they can play free and they can play strong. You know what I'm saying? They can get in the box tackle, they can play range, and they give you valuable snaps at nickel corner. George Iloka may be a better tackler than Donovan Wilson. George Iloka may give you better size than Donovan Wilson, but George is the odd man out because George ain't playing free, or at least he's not going to be good there, and George Iloka is not going to play nickel corner. And he's not going to be good there if he ends up doing it. So you just got to look at what we need as a defense, the type of guys that we like. Sure, George has range, but George can't do things that are important to this defense. So I think he's going to be the odd man out.
So we're not taking 5 safeties. I'm assuming somebody got to get cut between Frazier and Iloka. I'm assuming.
It depends. Kayvon may be a guy that makes it just because we need people to go play punt and we need people to go play kickoff. It just depends on how heavy we go elsewhere. But I would say Woods, Heath, and Donovan are safe, and that's 3. And everybody else, Darian Thompson, Kyle Cuero from West Virginia 2 years ago, Kevon Frazier, George Iloka, those guys are gonna have to fight for their spot. So we'll see. And then look, this how good we are. This how good we are as a team. You ready for this? Yeah. Sean Lee playing special teams. That's how good we are. You know what I'm saying?
Never thought I'd see that day.
That's how dope we are. Sean Lee ain't even hurt, but Sean Lee playing special. That's how good we are as a team. So I don't know. They're gonna have to find their way, man. They got to figure this out somehow.
What you think about us taking just 2 quarterbacks instead of 3 this year so we can have an extra roster spot?
We probably gonna end up taking 2. Honestly,
I ain't with that 3 shit this year. They need to go and just pick one of them and drive with them.
Most likely
nothing happened to Dak.
Most likely is gonna be Dak and backup, and somebody's gonna be a practice squad guy. And if we're in an emergency, we can always move up the practice squad guy. So we'll probably have 3 quarterbacks, but 2 of them will be active. So that's probably how that's gonna go.
All right, bro. Well, I appreciate it. I ain't got nothing else, man.
Appreciate it, famo. That's a great call, bro. Salute.
All right, man.
Who says this? Because I want to give y'all credit. VTC says, how'd you feel if Sean Lee gets hurt? I'm going to start rooting for the damn Browns if we if he gets cut, pardon me. If he gets cut, I'm going to start rooting for the Browns because I don't understand life anymore. Even though I trust this front office, and if Sean Lee gets cut, that means somebody else must be showing their ass, but yeah, I don't know what to say. Vlad said he got me on Patreon. Salute to you, sir. I don't know how Russian people salute each other. I ain't gonna do it on screen. They may come pick me up, but appreciate you, Vlad, for supporting the Patreon. Who else up in here? Let me see what my chat box talking about. Somebody getting put in time out. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Mike's Meticulous Podcast Details. Mike's Meticulous Detail Podcast. Don't play, man. Voch, did you see what Gallup said about Kellen Moore? Scroll back. Kellen Moore and throwing deep gets me excited for sure. No, Gage Bowman. What did he say about Kellen Moore? We got another call in here too. Caller, hang tight for me. Don't go nowhere. 214. What's that? Houston? That sounds fun. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna do this. All right. Let's see. Most likely try. All right, talking about now. Okay, cool. Let's get into this call and let's see what we're talking about. 214. What's happening? Who this?
Hey, what's good? Voch, Woski, bro.
Peasky Whiskey, my bro.
Yeah. DK, man. 214, that's Dallas, bro.
I got you, DK. What you got for the show?
Hey, man, I had a couple questions for you about roster spots. Like, tell me, how can we make these players make the roster? But I first wanted to just say, I think the Zeke holdout or tardiness, whatever he got going on, I think it's good because I hope they pay him.
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm glad we can watch see what Tony Pollard is about. You know what I mean? And Mike Weber, too.
Yes, sir.
I think the more carries Mike Weber get in the preseason, the better understanding we can get as far as keeping him on the roster or not. You know what I mean? That's another position. Like, I wouldn't be mad if we went with Zeke, Pollard, and just a fullback, if that made sense. And then use the position somewhere else, like maybe keep an extra corner or receiver or DB, whatever, DN, whatever. So that's just my comment on the Zeke situation.
I kind of like that notion, and somewhere where like that'll help And like as far as game day rosters or whatever, just having a running back that's not active carrying two guys and a fullback, that'll actually help you keep more defensive ends active. That'll help you keep more corners and offensive linemen active. So I kind of like that notion. And one thing that you write about is the Cowboys are doing this goofy thing where they always go seniority first. So the first running back is Darius Jackson now. Darius Jackson getting all the first team snaps or whatever. Man, look, that's just because the Cowboys do that goofy seniority thing. Like they watching Tony Pollard. Everything Tony do, they got eyes on it because I don't consider Tony to be the backup running back. I think he's also a starter because I think he can be on the field while Zeke is on the field, and they can be doing different creative things with that. So I totally agree. Zeke and Tony, and then just kind of building from there. So that's a good point. Go ahead. What else you got?
Yes, sir. Yeah. What's the other guy? You said Jackson. No. We can cut him, bro. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
That'll be a Garrett move if they kept that guy over like Mike Weber.
Sure.
But yeah, okay. So I need you to help me out, man. I love watching your videos, your breakdowns, everything.
Appreciate it.
So please tell me how to keep these people on the roster. Because me just scanning everything and looking at everything and watching your breakdowns, I'm gonna start with receivers.
Okay.
I see that they talking about they like John Vay Johnson, but how do we keep Jalen Guyton key? I don't care who we cut. I like both of them dudes. How do we keep them? And who would be the first to go as far as a veteran?
Let me just knock on wood I think something got to happen to Tavon to keep Jalen Guyton. Now, this ain't really guaranteed, but just in my mind off the rip, I feel like you can put Jalen Guyton on practice squad and he'll be fine. I think he'll be safe there. But
what if he have a real good preseason though?
If he have a good preseason, then so we know the big three is safe, and we know that cutting Allen Hurns helped a lot of people out. So if Tavon doesn't stay healthy, knocking on this oak table I got. If Tavon doesn't stay healthy, we're gonna need another speed guy, and I think that's gonna be where Jalen Guyton will kind of get another look. Now, will he be an active guy this year? I think there's no scenario in which Jalen Guyton can be active. If anything, he'll be the sixth receiver that we keep, and he'll just be like a guy that we just don't take on game days. Like he'll be active. I mean, he'll be on the team, but he won't be active because I think John Vay is going to be better than Jalen Guyton. I think John Vay is going to be our fourth guy. But knocking on wood, Jalen Guyton got to beat Cedric Wilson. Like that's his first obstacle. And if Jalen can beat Cedric Wilson, then he got a good shot.
Yeah, that was my other guy, Cedric Wilson. But I don't know. I got to see him. He ain't played yet.
Sure.
Okay, my next position. I want to keep. And the other caller before he talked about Donovan Wilson.
Sure.
But I'm like, man, can tell me how to keep Donovan Wilson, by Kayvon, Chris Westry, and Alumbo.
Man, so much stuff got to happen to keep Chris Westry, man. Boy, so much stuff. Because look, think about this. This is where you at in terms of cornerback. We ain't even talking about Byron and Cheeto. But your next set of guys are Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown. That's a nice little 4-man squad. You know what I mean? So now you got this bubble of guys that are fighting against each other for that fifth spot. You got Michael Jackson. You got
Forgot about Mike.
You can't forget about her fifth round pick, Michael Jackson. Fifth round pick, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, right.
So Mike and Donovan Alumba. Donovan got seniority. Michael Jackson got I'm a fifth round pick guy. So we actually got draft capital invested in Mike. So Chris Westry, who's an undrafted free agent, who was really a rotational guy at Kentucky, he's got to come out and just beat Donovan Alumba. Chris Westry got to beat veteran of 2 years, Donovan Alumba. That's going to be a hard fight for him. So I don't think Chris got a real good shot. But your other guy, your safety, Donovan Wilson.
Wilson.
I think Donovan got a pretty decent shot at making his team. He's another guy that can make the team, but he probably won't play on Sundays or whatever. It just depends on like where we at kicking game wise. Like if we need another spot for a kickoff, then we'll put him out there. But his job is to show his value in terms of, hey, coach, I can play nickel, I can play free, I can also tackle. And if you can do that, you're automatically better than Kayvon Frazier and George Iloka. So that's what Donovan Wilson gonna have to do.
I hope we keep him, man. I like him at A&M.
Sure.
All right, last one, Voch, man, and I'll hang up and listen.
Cool.
Bro, I'm tired. I'm tired of everybody bashing my boy. But I really, like, I'm sorry, like, Cowboys fans, like, we not going to really understand it until it happens.
Sure.
And people saying they cool with it, but I think with his potential, bro, I know we've been talking about potential. But I'm telling you, man, I just want to see him 1 year with Kelly.
Rico Gathers?
My boy Rico, man. My boy Rico, man. I just want to see him. Like, I feel like Linehan, he just been, you feel me? Like,
yeah.
This is too much there, bro. Like, let's get him in there one time. And if he do bad this year, okay, fine. But, man, tell me how to keep Rico, bro. And I hang up, man. I appreciate you, Rock Coach Wilson, baby. Look.
This my thing about Rico, and I didn't understand it neither. I was like, man, this dude got size, he could run, leaping ability, he got some solid hands or whatever. It was the preseason game versus Arizona, I believe, and Mike White was about to throw him the ball, but Rico wasn't looking for the ball, and Mike had to hold it one extra tick. Then Mike got sacked and he got up slow, and I was like, that's what it is with Rico. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not there, so I don't really know what it's like when he's learning his play. Like, he may know his plays, he may know what to do, but when it's time to play him, it's a big question mark. You know what I mean? Now we see highlights of him jumping over people in preseason, catching the ball in preseason. We see him blocking in the regular season. We see that, but is he doing enough to trust the coaches in the long run? And I think that's going to be the big thing with Rico. Now, I do think Rico is so talented that if he walks in with the mental side sealed up, he can beat out the new tight end we got that I forgot his name and Dalton Schultz. I think he automatically comes in better than them if his mental side is on tack. You know what I'm saying? But we just don't know if his mental side is intact. So we just gonna have to cross that road and see. But athletically, he's there. But I think this is last year.
What is Dalton Schultz, bro? Like, that's another question. What is Dalton Schultz, bro? Like, I like Jordan because he's tall and he shows something, but I mean, Dalton Schultz is like a poor man's Witten, bro. But he ain't showing nothing, but he keeping the roster spot. I don't know. That tight end's position frustrates me, man. For real.
I think.
And I feel like, go ahead.
I think tight ends in general just gotta develop a little more. But Dalton Schultz, in my opinion, is more like a poor man's James Hanna. Now, James Hanna ran like a 4.4, so like a 4.5 or something. But it ain't like we used him for that. We used James Hanna to come in and block people. And Dalton Schultz was a rookie last year. So if we put muscle on Dalton and we keep him in the system one more year, like last year was his learning year. So if he comes in now and we see him drastically improve as a high level tight end blocker, then I think he can be like James Hanna was for us. So we'll have to see. But you're right, he didn't show us nothing last year, but that was his rookie year. You know, tight ends normally don't show much their rookie year, but we'll have to see, what happens this year, and we'll see.
Man, that's what's up.
Yep.
I appreciate you, Voch, man. I enjoy your breakdowns, bro. For real.
No doubt,
I've been
fam.
on you for about a year now, man. You good money, bro.
Appreciate you, man. I just plugged you in the system as platinum, so next time you call in, you ain't got to wait so long. Appreciate you, brother.
Already, Voch. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. DK from Dallas. That was a great call, man. Great questions. I like when people call in with great questions and they put me in scenarios to think about. Let's get some of these last few matchups out the way, and then we're gonna dip out. We're gonna wrap this show up. What's my time look like? What's my time? 53 minutes. Yeah, 53 minutes. Cool. Let's run. Let's do this. I saw somebody earlier say that they wanted Gallup versus Jordan Lewis. I think this is another gatekeeper type matchup. I would like to see Gallup versus a little more competition. Put him against Cheeto. In my opinion, if Cheeto's on another team, he'll be like their number one corner or their cornerback number one. I really like Cheeto, but Byron Jones is just so good. I would like to see what Gallup can do versus a top level corner. Also, put Gallup versus Byron. Now, I think Byron's sitting out or whatever because of his hip or whatnot, so we won't really know for sure. But I would like to see the level of competition that Gallup can beat. How high up our cornerback depth chart can you beat a guy? And I think Gallup versus Byron Jones would be I think that'll be a good little fight. Now, Cooper ain't got to go against nobody. We ain't got to see Cooper go one-on-one with nobody. Like, I just got so much faith in Cooper. Cooper's fantastic. Cooper's the number one guy. But something that I do want to see from Cooper, though, I just want to see Cooper be so good that he terrorizes everybody. You know, training camp Dez is the best receiver of all time. Like, Jerry Rice is cool, but Dez Bryant in training camp is the best receiver I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of want Coop to be, if Coop got to go one-on-one with somebody, I want to kind of see Coop just be a step over everybody. I don't want to see nobody being able to compete with Coop. But there's a double-sided coin with football. I want to see Coop whoop everybody. But on the other side of the coin, I don't want to see anybody just comply with Coop. I want to see some good fights. I want to see Byron try to beat Coop. I want to see Cheeto try and beat Coop. I want to see Jordan Lewis try to beat Coop. And that's going to make everybody, improve and, just make everybody better or whatnot. So I think that'll be fun to see that dynamic. Randall Cobb, we know Randall Cobb can play, man. We ain't really got to see it, but if Randall Cobb plays against a guy like Jordan Lewis, I think that'll be good for both of them. If just Randall Cobb just sitting out for a while or whatever, he had his injuries last year, I believe. Just seeing him get his feet back wet with a guy that's a pretty good competitor, with a guy that's not gonna let him off the hook. Jordan Lewis ain't gonna let nobody off the hook. Jordan gonna put hands on people. Plus, I think that'll be a pretty good matchup for him. So Cobb versus Jordan Lewis, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Now, this is interesting. This is the round where we get lyrical. I want to see Tony Pollard versus Leighton Vander Esch. But I also want to see Tony Pollard versus Anthony Brown. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to put them in both those situations. Tony's going to get some reps at running back, beating up on linebackers. Tony's also going to get some reps at slot, still potentially matching up with linebackers, but he may run into a nickel corner, And even though I expect Anthony Brown to win that matchup, because Anthony Brown is actually a corner. Like, we know Anthony Brown, like he covers receivers, so I know he can cover running backs, whatever. I want to see Tony versus Anthony Brown, but I also want to see Tony versus Vander Esch. Tony coming out the backfield versus Vander Esch, and Tony on the line of scrimmage at receiver against Anthony Brown. I think that'll be fun. Plus, I want to see the rookies. We're talking about Michael Jackson and Donovan Wilson. I want to see those guys. I want to see Chris Westry go up against Jalen Guyton or something, just to kind of see where we at. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be fun. But we'll cross that road whenever we get there. We'll figure it out whenever we log on and do that thing. So I think training camp. I think practice is about to start soon or something like that. So I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. I'm gonna get this one last call out the way, and then we gonna get into it. Dan, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. What you got for the show?
All right. I got into your live stream kind of late, but I just have a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with Jerry Jones on his statement about Zeke Elliott? Well, because in my opinion, we haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, this is I think the next 1 to 2 years, because whether Byron Jones, we could keep him, Jalen Smith, all these guys we got to sign. These next 2 years, we have an actual, real, legitimate shot to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. You don't just lock this guy up and win a Super Bowl this year?
I think we lock up Zeke. I think we win a Super Bowl. I think Zeke would be a very valuable part of us winning a Super Bowl. Do I think we can win a Super Bowl without Zeke? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because it's not always necessarily the running back. I want the production. You know, I hate analytics guys. I can't stand them. They make me sick. My ass itch when I listen to them. And they want to sell you this narrative that run game is not important. That's false. Because you gotta be able to run the ball. I don't care what anybody says. They think it's a myth that the run game isn't important to setting up the pass. Well, in that same breath, they'll tell you play action is important. If you don't have the run game, you don't have play action. So I hate analytics
At
guys.
all.
So what they'll have you think is that run game isn't important. Tom Brady doesn't need it. That's false. Now, Tom Brady may not have a number one running back, but if you take James White and combine them with Sony Michel and combine them with Rex Burkhead and combine them with Lee Garrett Blunt, you'll get 120 some odd rushing yards and 6 catches or something, like 6 catches for 50 yards.
Right.
It's just
Production.
It's just that we choose to do that with one running back. They choose to do it with 3. Now, in terms of salary cap stuff, in terms of draft positioning or whatever, if you want to make a case that running back's not important there, sure. But I'm a pure football guy. You're never going to sell me on the idea that running back's not important. And I think Dak Prescott can win without Zeke. I just don't want to see Dak win without Zeke, because my core football philosophy is that you win the game with horses. It don't matter where they at. You win the game with horses. And 3 of our offensive linemen are horses. One of our running back is a horse. Once upon a time, our tight end was a horse. Our receiver is a horse. It don't matter where they at. As long as you got horses on the field, you win ball games. Zeke can go out there and he can rush for 40 yards and no touchdowns. Cool. You shut down Zeke. I bet your ass them wide receivers got off. I bet them wide receivers did well. There was a couple games Cooper really didn't give us big games or whatever. Cool. You look at the other side of the field, Michael Gallup went off for 80 and a touchdown. All these players matter. It's a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't just hating on analytics guys because, they look into their numbers, but all the puzzle pieces are needed. And I would love to have Zeke on this team, but I do think you can win a Super Bowl without him.
And I guess the last thing is, you don't think that Dak holding out for more money is kind of the problem right now?
No.
I mean, if he wants $35 million a year, how are we going to keep Amari and Zeke and Byron Jones? I don't think this team wins, number one, without the defense the way it is, right?
Sure.
So how do you win paying Dak $35 million? Because that's what he's going to want. I mean, that's what I'm assuming that's what he wants. He wants more than Wentz, right? I mean, that's going to be it.
Sure.
So if at $35 million a year, how do you cap wise keep Amari Cooper, keep Zeke Elliott, keep Byron Jones? I mean, it's almost impossible, no?
Well, we got a lot of salary cap. The salary cap is going to go up every year. We have plenty of room now. We're going to have even more room next year. We got buttons on guys' contract that we can get that we can just open up $10 million in cap space. But I think in the long run, how we make this work, teams end up in salary cap hell because they don't draft well. We're not in salary cap hell right now. Even if we sign those 4 guys, we're still not going to be in salary cap hell because we got guys that we can move pieces around. If you look at the Giants don't draft well. So they had to spend $500 million on a defense. They ended up in salary cap hell because they didn't win a Super Bowl with those guys and they couldn't pay all of them. Now, if you look at our defense now, we ain't really paying anybody but D-Law. D-Law is the only guy on that defense that we're paying big money to, him and Tyrone Crawford. So you would just imagine that we would just have to pull off the same kind of strategy with them. We have a cheat code because we can draft well. Like rosters turn over every 2 years or so. Right. So if you look at where we were, in 2016 or whatever, we was like, man, Brandon Carr is our safety. Brandon Carr and Claiborne are our corners or whatever. shit, neither one of those guys on this team now. And in 2 years, neither one of those guys may not be on this team. Xavier Woods, guys like Antoine Woods, guys like Christian Covington, guys that really start for us. They may not be here, but as long as we can keep drafting well, as long as we can keep, bringing in guys that can play and playing them on rookie contracts, we might not we may not need to pay every single person. And then there's this circle of life things that happens. Tyrone Crawford, he may not be on this team in 2 years. Sean Lee's going to free up some money. Jason Witten's going to free up some money. Lael Collins, we're going to draft some. Actually, we just drafted the Lael Collins issue.
Him, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So we're not going to pay Lael Collins $10 more million. We'll just move Connor Williams to right tackle, and Connor McGovern's going to start. So instead of paying everybody, we pay our key players. We're going to pay core players, but the rest of those rotational guys, they're going to be the guys that get pushed off the bridge in the long run.
So that's what I'm saying. Why are we not just getting the Zeke thing over with? I just don't understand. Is it $3 million, $4 million? I don't know. I think I would just love to lock him up and just run into the actually have a full, training camp, with our full offense with Kellen Moore there. But who knows, right? I guess this is what Jerry Jones gets for not taking Jalen Smith there in the fourth pick, right?
Sometimes
Jalen Ramsey.
Sometimes you just gotta play chicken, Sometimes you gotta play chicken. Yeah. If you listen to D Law's agent David Cantor, he was on 105.3 The Fan, and he wanted D Law to have like $24 million. And if we would have just complied, we would have paid D-Law $24 million, but since we played chicken a little bit, we got him down to like 21. So you saved that $3 million, you saved $3 million with somebody else, you saved $3 million with somebody else. We got an extra $9 million to pay some other guy. So sometimes, sometimes we have a number in mind, and the agents try to get the bigger number. Sometimes it just takes time. It takes time to just whittle these guys down to the number that we want, or just a better number for both sides.
Right.
Yep.
Understood. I just thought we were in worse cap shape. They make it seem like we're in real bad cap shape. I don't understand the salary cap. I got a job, man. I can't be looking at the salary cap all day. But
man, next year we're gonna have like a $60 some odd million in cap space with a maximum of like 82.
Because they're talking, ESPN everywhere that we're how are we gonna sign these guys? Blah 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 blah. We don't have the money. And the way you're making it sound like we got plenty of room.
Think about this. Besides 3 offensive linemen and a defensive end, who are we paying? Everybody on rookie contracts. We ain't paying nobody. We got plenty of money.
Leighton Van Der Esch will be there for a while. Jalen Smith's got 2 years. Yeah, you're right.
Sure. So,
makes sense.
Yep. Appreciate you,
brother.
brother.
Voch. You're the man.
Yes, sir. Salute. Great show, guys. Great show. This has been dope. I just want to know where you want to go. I'm going to try to, go to Twitter and the YouTubes and such, and I'm going to see if I can find some kind of training camp coverage or whatever. I just want to see some one-on-ones, man. That's all I want to see. I just want to see these wide receivers and DBs get into some one-on-one catching, covering stuff, and I just want to see these offensive linemen and defensive linemen bash into each other. So this was a great show, man. We have a lot of good shows, man. Thanks for the callers, man. I got a couple. Let's see. Let me shout some people out because I got shout-outs to shout. Stephen Morrison dropped a deuce in the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. He says, keep doing what you do, Voch. Flames 100. Appreciate you for dropping that deuce in the super chat. Who else we got? We got Hold My Beer. He is a new $10 patron, sir. I think he just dropped his email under the fantasy football list, so appreciate you for supporting the Patreon. You are locked in. Me and Nene gonna set that group up, and we're gonna have some fun fantasy football with y'all. Also, earlier, Gerald Davis dropped 5 in the PayPal, so appreciate you for supporting the channel on that level. Thanks to everybody that supports monetarily. He said, keep up the good work on your channel. Are you coming to Oxnard this year, or will you be making the tailgate party in DC when we play the Redskins? I don't think I'm gonna make it to DC, and I'm definitely not going to Oxnard. No. So I may make some Cowboys games, but I've been in the DMV a lot lately. more than I normally am. So next time I come out there, I'll make a post or something, and we'll see if we can get a meet and greet going and we'll just cross that road whenever we get there. Vlad says 12 person PPR. It'll be 12. I don't know if it's going to be PPR or standard yet. Who cares? We may do PPR. We're not going to get too weird. Like, it ain't going to be like a 2 quarterback league or nothing like that. Something strange like that. It ain't going to be none of that. And salute the merch game. Appreciate everybody that has bought merchandise from me, that have bought shirts. I think I have some pretty dope shirts, and I appreciate everybody that has bought one to support. That's shop.spreadshirt.com/shoplombardi. That link is in the description. If y'all want to go and get a shirt, y'all can go down there and pick up one. I appreciate you. And that's it. Go check out my Dak Prescott film sessions, his deep ball accuracy, his deep ball throwing to Gallup video. Check out the Amari Cooper runs one route 4 different ways. That's a dope video. Christian Covington, Donovan Alumba trying to get one last view push before the end of the month. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm going to do another live stream on the 31st just to kind of end the month off in a good way. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski. The Peasky Whiskey is free. Don't forget when the season pops back off, we're going to be doing post-game shows, and those are always the best. Peace, y'all.